Good afternoon, my dear students. Welcome back to the online classes. Today I am going to discuss with you about the concept of active voice to passive voice. Yes, this question or this topic carries out 3 marks for your annual examination, and this is the 26th question of your question paper for your annual examination. My dear students, this is a simple topic. This is a simple topic to score 3 marks in your examination easily. So let me define about the definitions of active voice and passive voice. Yes, at first I am going to discuss with you about the definition of active voice. My dear students, the voice in which the object receives the action of the verb is known as active voice, and the passive voice, the voice in which the subject receives the action of the verb is known as passive voice. Yes, in an easy way, if you want to know the definitions of active voice and passive voice, the sentence which raises a question to ask who, this is what the active voice. That means the active voice, it raises a question to know the person's name. But the passive voice, the sentence which raises a question to know what. That means the sentence, it just demands to know what is. Okay? In other words, if you want to understand the definitions of active voice and passive voice very clearly, then let me define about. See, the first, if the whole sentence is directed by the subject, it is known as active voice. And if the whole sentence is directed by the object, it is known as passive voice. These all are the definitions of active voice and passive voice. Yes, after the discussions of active voice and passive voice, let me introduce the examples of active voice and passive voice. My dear students, I am going to discuss the examples of active voice and passive voices through the tense voice. Yes, at first I am going to discuss and I am going to analyze and I am going to explain the first past tense. And in past tense I am going to discuss the first part, that is what simple past. Yes, my dear students. In simple past, there is an helping verb. There is an helping verb, that is did. Did. And this helping verb stands with all subjects, with all pronouns. But this helping verb did, it is only used for active forms, not for passive forms. But when we change the sentences of all active voices into passive voices in simple past, we use was and were helping verbs to shift the sentences into passive voice. Look at the examples of active voices and passive voices in simple past, in past tense. Yes, see the first example, active voice, Tejas solve problems. Yes, my dear students, I am discussing the examples in simple past to past tense. In simple past tense, we see the verb to form. If you want to understand it clearly, just look at the second sentence. I mean, look at the other nature of this statement. They just did solve problems. Both sentences are same. Yes, if you have a question, why did I write 2 sentences under board here? Yes, this is what the common use by all people. Remember, my dear students, pages solve problems. This is the common statement. When we transfer this statement into interrogative, so many people even fail to understand what is the helping verb that is hidden in the sentence. That is why, for that reason, I have clarified the other nature of this statement on the board. See, Tejas solve problems. Tejas did solve problems. Both are equal. If you write solved with to form in the sentence, you are not supposed to write the did form. If you want to write the did helping verb for the active form in this statement, you should not suppose to write the solved. Yes. If we write did helping verb, we should not write solve here. If we write solve, we should not write the did helping this statement is, yes, remember my dear student, there are some formulas to change the active voices into passive voices. Yes, remember the first formula, the object of active voice just comes subject of passive voice. This is what the first formula. See, the object of active voice comes the subject of passive voice. Problems here. The third problems came here, and the problems, is it singular or plural? It is plural. So when we use the plural form of noun, after the plural form of noun, we should use the word helping verb in simple past tense. Remember, why should I use here word helping verb? If you have a question to ask, that am, is, are, whatever it may be, see my dear students, I am in simple past tense. That is why here the helping verb comes, that is verb. The subject of passive voice is plural. See here, problems. This is the plural form, and when we use the plural form, it does take the help of plural helping verb, plural form helping verb. See, problems were. So after the helping verb, we should use the verb 3 form, that is past participle form in passive voice. See, this is the first formula and this is the second formula, helping verb, to use correct helping verb in passive voices. For that, to find out the helping verbs, correct helping verbs in passive voices, for that there is a diagram. In later class I shall mention, don't worry. See here, problems, this is what plural form, and it does take the help of plural form helping verb. Problems were, after the helping verb we should use verb 3 form, that is past participle form, and after the verb 3 form we may use by preposition after the what? Verb 3 form. Yes, after the preposition form we may use. See here, the subject of active voice just goes the object of passive voice. This is the clear sentence, shifting from active voice to passive voice. Once again, for your understanding, Tejas solved problems. Problems were solved by Tejas. This is what plural form. If we use a singular form, then what will be happening? See here, the singular form. Madhu wrote a letter. A letter, this is the singular form of a noun, and when we shift this singular form of a noun in the place of subject in the passive voice, a letter, singular, noun, singular. What is the quantity of the noun is here? The quantity of the noun is singular. When it is singular, it does take the help of singular helping verb. In simple past tense, that comes was. A letter was. See here, after the helping verb, we should use the weakly form of this verb. Here is write and here is written. Remember, my dear students, a letter was written by Madhu. This is what the second statement from shifting from active voice to passive voice. Dear students, once again I am clarifying with you that Madhu wrote a letter. Madhu wrote a letter, or Madhu did write a letter. If you write the word wrote, you are not supposed to write the helping word did. If you write the word write with the helping word, you are not supposed to write the wrote. That is what Madhu wrote a letter. Madhu did write a letter. Both are equal, both are same. And for these two statements, the passive voice is a letter was written by Madhu. And I request you to come to the next part of past tense. That is what past continuous. In past continuous, the active forms are was, were, and the passive forms are was, being, were, being. My dear students, here the active forms in past continuous, those are already used in simple past tense for passive voice. See here, these two helping verbs are already used for passive voice in already simple past. But in past continuous, the helping verbs were they are used for active forms. Then what are the helping verbs? They come for the passive voices. See here, was being and were being, the passive form forms. Yes, let me explain the examples for past continuous of active voices to passive voices. See, the first example, active voice. Ravi was singing songs. Ravi was singing songs. This is what the past and singing. This is what the continuous. Past continuous. Ravi was singing songs. Yes, songs. The object of active voice. The object of active voice goes as a subject in passive voice. Songs. Yes, it is shifted here. Songs. When we use the plural form of noun, automatically, I already discussed with you that when we use the plural form of subject, the quantity of the subject is plural form, then it does take the help of plural form helping verb. Yes, songs were. Yes, my dear students, after the helping verb, if we write the verb 3 form of sing, that is sung. If we write the verb 3 form sung after the helping verb here to complete the sentence, then you must understand there will be there will know the differences between the simple past passive voices and the past continuous passive voices. So for that reason, here the extra word that comes here, being. Being, it is used instead of ing in past continuous. See my dear students, Ravi was singing songs. Songs, the quantity of the subject is plural form. Songs were, instead of ing, being, the songs were being sing. This is V1, and the verb 3 form of this one is sung. Songs were being sung by Ravi. This is what the quantity. The quantity of the subject is plural. Then take the quantity of the subject in singular. See, people were elected leader. This is also past continuous. And the passive voice of the statement is leader. This is what singular form. This is what singular form. When we use the singular subject, it does take the help of singular helping verb. Leader was, instead of ing, being. Leader was being elected by people. These are the examples of active voices to passive voices in past continuous. Yes, come to the third part of past tense. That is what? Past perfect. Yes, in past perfect, the active form verbs. In other words, the helping verb, that is what? Had, and the passive form. And the helping verb for the passive form, that is what? Had been. Had been. Yes. Let me explain. Let me introduce the examples of active voices and the passive voices. See, my dear students, the examples. Active voice. Pavan had eaten all fruits. My dear students, I am strictly explaining that when we use the sentences in any perfect sentence, perfect tenses, whether it is present perfect or past perfect or future perfect, when we write the sentences in any perfect tenses, eventually we use the verb 3 form for only the active voice sentences, but not in continuous and even in simple past for active voices. Got it? See, Pawan had eaten all fruits. Fruits, all fruits. This is what the plural form. The quantity of the subject is here plural. Yes. This term, all fruits, this is a shifted here at the beginning. All fruits, all fruits. Of course, whatever it may be, whether it is a singular or plural, there is only one helping verb for active voices in past perfect. That is what had. Yes, even for singular subject and even for plural subject, we should use the same helping verb. All fruits had. All fruits had. I have mentioned extra word here to complete passive voice. That is what been. If I do not use this term in passive voice, remember my dear students, if I do not use been word in passive voice, then what is the difference between the active voice and the passive voice? See here, there is nothing difference among the active voice and passive voice. For the difference and for the well understanding and for well clarification, there is a special word for the passive voices to put in your mind. See here, Pavan had eaten all fruits. All fruits had. See here, the special word what? Been. All fruits had been eaten by Pavan. See here, the subject of active voice that is shifted at the end of the sentence in passive voice, and the object of active voice, that is shifted in the subject of passive voice. Pavan had eaten all fruits. All fruits had been eaten by Pavan. See, this is what the plural form. And if we use the singular form of subject, then what we have? See here, active voice. Students had followed a rule. Students had followed a rule. A rule had been followed by students. This is what beautiful examples of active voices to passive voices. Yes, the last part I let you to come. I let you to come to the last part of the past tense. Yes, in the last part, what are the active voices and what are the passive voices? Let me introduce. Past perfect continuous. See, my dear students, had been. In past perfect continuous, there we can see a beautiful helping verb, that is what? Had been. Had been. This helping verb is already used in past perfect. The helping verb of fourth part, the helping verb or the active form. The active form of fourth part is already used in third form for passive voices. This is what the major point to remember. See here, active voice. For active voice, there is an helping verb, that is what had been. See the examples. Active voice. Mayur had been watching a serial. Mayur had been watching a serial, and the passive voice is a serial had been. Had been. This is what the same helping verb that is used in the passive voice, and instead of ing, being. A serial had been being watched by Mayur. This is what the estimated sentence. My dear students, in English grammar, there is nothing possible of this kind of sentence. Yes, this kind of sentence will be never used in English grammar. So, as a result, the active voices are possible in fourth part, but the passive voices. So we can't create, we can't write the passive voices in fourth part of past tense. That means we can create, we can write active voices only. But apart from this, in all three parts of past tense, we can write the active voices and the passive voices. But in fourth part, we can't create the passive voices. Yes, I just covered two examples for each part, but when we can't write the passive voices in fourth part, I did not mention another example. This is only enough. I think that is enough to understand. When we are not able to shift the active voices into passive voice in fourth part, so I think we are not supposed to discuss more in the fourth part. Yes, but seriously, the active voices and the passive voices. Yes, absolutely. The two examples This is what the active voices into passive voices in past tense, and the active voices into passive voices in present we shall discuss in later class. Yes, we shall stop here. Continue our next class. Thank you.